true is if you select some points and if you try to do the analysis, it only does the analysis of certain points. But for now, we want to do the analysis of all the points, and we want to create a combined hotspot region or hotspot places of all of those points, and not only the single point. We can go to edit and click on clear. Now this will be removed. Yeah, now we have the data of 970. Now, why it's still filtered? Because we use the filter like only the hotspot values and not the cold spot values. So it's okay. Let's create a distance of 500 meters. Since the majority of the units all are in SI units, I believe the distance that we provided previous is also in meter. We're going to check it. Okay, now this kind of error appears because I haven't dissolved the hotspot. But do I need individual hotspot of every points? No. Let me remove this. And instead of this, I have to use dissolve all output features into a single feature. Now we can see the difference. After I run this, let me run this first. Look, what it does, it dissolves all those hotspots into a single feature. So these are the hotspots I need to be careful about. Now let's bring in some of the road values as well as the school values. For this, let's see if the ArcGIS Pro have the data. Let's go to view, catalog pane, portal. Wait a minute, yeah, on the portal. Let's go to ArcGIS Online and let's select, so since this region is in Arizona, let's select Arizona roads and schools. Let's select the road. Let's bring in the road first. Okay, Arizona all road network. I think this can work. Let's see if I will have the road network. Yes, I can see the road network now. Let's bring in Arizona schools or Tempe schools. Let's just put Tempe first. Okay, Tempe public schools or any school data. You can just click here and drag it. Since the road data is very huge, I think it is making some obstructions for our data set. For this, let's create a area feature and we need only the road of this particular region. So let's go to our catalog pane, and this is the catalog pane, by the way. Let's go to project and we have the day1.gdb. So in this database, or we can create another database which I've not done previously. Let's store all of this data into a database. So do the right click on the day one and you can go to new and you can create a file geodatabase. Say day 2 gdb, and you can store this. Let's input all of those values. Let's import the feature classes. You can just click and drag. Let's not import the road network because it's too huge. Light gray reference should be maybe on the bottom, not on the, maybe here. You can just order it, or you can just go to do the right click on the map, reorder layers. You can order it by either name or by type. Right now, if you want to see where the data are located, this is the database. This is the data source. I have the data from the, like, this is the folder where I imported the Tempe crash data from. This is the current data set or the database I'm working on. This one, you can just extend it here, d1.gdb, and this is from the all road network. You can just do the right click and go to properties and click on source to check its value. So it is from the ArcGIS REST server. And what I want to do is I want to clip the road and only show the values of this particular section. Or maybe, okay, Okay, let's import those features. Let's import the hotspot cold spot. Only the filtered web. I only need the hotspot. Okay. Also, why not renaming it to only hotspot? Because that will be. Let's click. I did the F2 click. You can go to properties and rename it, or have the double click on the name and press enter. Let's put the value. Let's okay. So bring the hotspot here. We have 9070 values of these hotspot points, not the buffer region. So let's also bring the buffer and let's bring the original data. We might need it into like, so our database is day2 GTP. Since this is the day2 we're working on, let's store it to that particular database. Now what I'm doing is, so except from original roads, if I remove all of those data, and if I go to the database day2.gdb, then I can import those data. I can import the relevant data. I don't need this one for now. These are the hotspot data. So if you want to apply the symbology, you can also do this. You can do the right click and go to symbology. And instead of single symbol, you can use graduated colors. And instead of source ID, you can do this for the GI and fixed value, because the greater value indicates, the more confidence that the region is a hotspot. Also, you can do the same for the symbols. You can go to this various symbology by attribute and go to size and go for GN neighbors fixed 500. Let's enable the size range, not to 90, but let's say to 15, like from 1 to 3. Let's do from 1 to 3, 1 to look, or 4 to 12 on the same particular scale. So this values are probably 4. These values are 1, which means 4, and 3 means 12. We're just scaling out and nothing else. You don't need to actually do that also. Like 3 means 12, so this means the larger values. This is just to visualize the points with a greater confidence that these regions are a hotspot, and with lower confidence. Okay, so let's bring in the road network here. Also, before that, let's create a boundary, and let's clip the roads into the boundary. We don't need it for the specific project, but do it just to visualize and have fun. Let's add a new data set, new feature class, not the data set. Let's say boundary. Alias, you can give anything. And remember, while naming, you have to follow some conventions like the variable names in Python. If you've used, you cannot provide spaces here. It won't simply allow to, or maybe have number before the word or character. It won't allow to. So it is a polygon, yes, and we enable the M value because it will be useful for the future purposes, but we are not using it. So here it won't have any significant effect. I can just click to finish or go to next and add some of the fields. Let's say area. I can set it to long or double if I need it on the high precision. But I won't be calculating area, so this won't be necessary. I'm just teaching you how to add those field names and attributes and select the data type. So you can allow the null value or not. So depending on the type of data, let's say you had the age data null not previously, but if you're directly importing and editing in ArcGIS Pro, you can set the allow null value to no, so that you'll know when you're doing the wrong entry. You can just click on Control Shift C for the creating features, or go to Edit and press Create. Both yield the same result. We have the boundary. Let's create the boundary first. Okay, we can select the rectangular layout or freehand layout. Let me select the freehand layout. Okay, let's select this. Not perfect, but if you are one of those who need a base map to work, you don't have any reference and you are not understanding what is happening here, you can just go to map, base map, and you can add any of the base maps that you like. Let's add imagery base map, which is provided by the S3. So you can see it. Okay, let's hide the boundary for now. Click on OK. So if you are having problem to see the regions, and if you want this to be, let's say, be transparent, you can just go to hotspot, cold spot buffer, and you can go to feature layer, and you can set the transparency, let's say 75%, and you can see those points or see those regions where we have the hotspot exactly. You can say this. It is very much transparent. Let's set the transparency to, let's say, 50%. Or you don't want, or you want it to be only like or you want just the boundary line and not the inner values. You can do the double click on this modify symbol, and you can go to black outline or dashed or something. But this seems good to me, so let's keep it as it is. Okay, now let's so when we click on the road data, it takes much time to load because it is so much, and we need only the data within our boundary region. So for this, we use the clip. You can go to analysis tools, or you can search here, like do the drop down and search for the clip. If it's not available, you can go to tools and click on clip, go to clip, and our input feature or data set is the road network. Okay, so it does not allow. So this is maybe the group layer or layer name. Uh, so I don't think it supports this one. But it supports this one. So what is this? Let's go to properties. Okay, so this is not the layer which is the line. So it is this one. So if you double click this, okay, search. Okay, this is the layer, and this is the layer which we're going to clip, and we're going to clip by the, let's say, boundary. Let's click and drag it here. You can select, or again you can go to edit and clear to remove the selection. Since you have only one boundary, that won't matter at all. Or you can just disable the filtering here. Disable the filter selection here. So let it take its time. So let's see if any of the layer is added here. Okay, so the process is completed and a new layer is added. So let's disable this one. And if you can see, okay, let's disable the imagery for now. If you can see, we have the road network. And again, since this road network is a GIS data, we can have the GIS attribute of the road network. You can go to the right, you can do the right click and go to the attribute table. You can see this data was collected from and to, and route name, and the route ID, and shape length, which is basically the length of any line that we have. Like this is the length. So if you want to identify what is the total distance, what is the total road distance within this particular clipped region, you can just go to the shape length, do the right click, and go to summarize. Statistics field, shape length, and statistic type. Let's do the sum. Okay, now we have the statistics as a table. You can open it, and you can see that it is 1012.62. Okay, so the problem again, the issue persists. Like I have selected only one column here, so the length is 1012.62. Either I have to clear my selection and do it again, or I have to select all. Let's clear the selection, go to summarize, or summarize, and click on the shape length and do the sum. Okay, Let's go to statistics one and open table. So now this is the length. So you have to always do before doing it, the analysis. You have to remember whether you have selected a specific point, a specific line, a specific column or not, or a specific row or not. So this is the crust data that do we have. We have like also let's see if there is any nearby regions within the buffer or within the hotspot. This is the buffer we have. So it is very much transparent. We can decrease the transparency maybe now. Let's go to feature layer, set the transparency to 25%. Or let's set it to 0%. Okay. So these are the regions needing special attention. Like what if they have the schools nearby them? That will be pretty dangerous. So let's see if there is data of school on the ArcGIS online server. Let's go to view, catalog pane, or you can just switch it from here. Like you have chart properties, create feature, geoprocessing catalog pane. You can do it and you can do the right click and you can go to close others. You can go to portal and do the ArcGIS online. Let's see school. Oh, it will be quite vague. So instead of searching school, let's search for Arizona schools or Tempe schools or Phoenix schools, the regions around this data. So let it load for a while. Okay, instead of this, let's select okay, we Arizona school. Okay, we have the data of schools of Arizona. Let's click it and bring it here, or you can just do the right click and add to current map. It is adding the data. It is finishing up. Okay. Okay, this is too much. Again, we can clip the data. We can only find the schools within this particular region, or directly, uh, maybe what we need is okay. Let's apply the symbology first because this doesn't. Okay, you can just expand this, expand the layer, do the right click and go on symbology, or do the double click on the symbol layer. Let's search for. You can go now. You go to the gallery and you can search for school. Sorry for the disturbance before. So you can go to school and you can select any of the school icons. So let's see. So what we're trying to find is if there are any schools within those buffer zones, within those hotspot zones. So these schools are pretty critical because of the students that travel from this school. So if there are any schools within this particular zone, so they have to be extra taken care of. So let's clip the schools based on those buffer zones like that we have done for the data. So again, let's go to, you can also go to view and geoprocessing, or you can go to edit and tools, both yield the same data. Well, we already have the clip here because we did it last time. So let's go to clip, and this time our input feature is Arizona schools and our clip feature is again the buffer. Let's okay, you can do the double click or you can delete everything and you can just rename it as, let's say, critical schools. This is not a good name, but let's use it for the temporary purpose. Okay, so we have the data. Let's disable it. We don't need the other school values. So if you want to find out how many schools are there, let's go to attribute table. And we have 98 schools which are within those critical zones, which are within the 500 meters of the hotspot region. So which are within the 500 meters where the accidents are mostly occurring or most happening. So these schools have to be extra taken care of. So these are the schools. Again, let's go to the attribute of the schools. Let's see if we can filter out the schools also. Let's see the data first. Let's read the data. We have the data of ID, some of those, and county name and district name. Okay, school name, class, school type. Okay, high school, elementary, model, address, city, website. Okay, urban and rural. Okay, status. Okay, status can be pretty good data. Like if you have those schools which are closed, then maybe we do not need to include of those schools, like the closed ones. So let's filter out the closed ones. Like let's select the field for status is equal to open only. Yeah, let's only filter out those particular schools. Let's narrow down our selection because when they're closed, because narrow schools are more useful for us because they are more critical. Open schools are more useful for us than the closed ones. So these are the schools that lie in the proximity. Okay, or you can do another analysis to identify the how near are those schools. But since we've already taken a buffer of 500 meters, so I think that makes sense. So now we narrow down to 69 schools. So these are the schools that are critical because they lie within the 500-meter radius of the hotspot regions. So this kind of analysis can be done with ArcGIS. And so what can be done is we can take some advanced steps, like we can do some like awareness, or we can over the parents of those schools to be very extra cautious while driving or uh, while riding or while coming at a school hour. Or okay, so also the hotspot is for the general time. So if you're considering school, so the majority of the school time lies between like maybe like 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. in the morning and 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. in the evening. So if we are able to create a hotspot on that particular time, maybe the hotspot will be very different and that will be more useful for the schools. So that can be done also. So let's do that value. So okay, so since we're doing the analysis for which roads or which roads are safe for the schools, we can also shift we can also see if we uh, change the hotspot time from the time into the from the everyday time to the school time. We can see if the hotspot can change or not. So this can also be one of the analysis that we do. But yeah, so for this you just need to filter out the data. Again, the same process, but you can go to Excel table to point and you can do the filter, like when the time field is from this point to this point, from let's say is greater than 7 a.m. and less than 9 a.m. and greater than 2 p.m. and less than 4 p.m. and you can select those points and you can conduct the same process again and again. So this is how you do it. Also, it can be used to select the routes while you're traveling or while you're traveling with your kids. Like if you want to go this particular school, maybe the safest route would be to like navigate the area with lesser accidents or lesser hotspots for safety or similar purposes. We can also do network analysis to, let's say your house is here and this school is here. What is the safest point? If you have to, like if you have to be safe from all of those regions or all of those buffer zones or hotspots, what can be the shortest path to travel from one point to another? These are the things for the network analysis, which we are going to do later. So on this day, we learned about the from the data entry to doing some of the basic geospatial analysis. So most of the geospatial analysis depends from the data to data. Like we are not doing this analysis because just we know this analysis exists, but this analysis help us to uncover some of the hidden secrets or some of the hidden information that just the basic Excel does not. Like this data does not help us to understand that in depth much as that GIS data does. So that is the power of GIS, and that is the fun working with GIS. So if you want to apply some of the so if you want to print this map, you can go to, let's say, uh, let's create, or maybe we don't need to do that right now, and we'll do that in the next video. So the thing is, you can just create some of the layouts, and you can put this map and insert it. So if you go to share, then we have the layout. We have the export map feature and we have the export layout feature here. But let's go to layout and see if we have any default. We go to project and we don't have any default layouts. You can search it here, layout. If you can find anything. Let's go to edit. Let's see which of those sections have layout enabled here. Let's go to insert here. Insert has the layout, new layout, and let's select the A4 page. Mm, okay, ISO A4 in horizontal landscape. Okay. Okay, so this is the layout. So let me do a quick layout. Let's insert the map frame, which is this map. You click on the map and you drag it. Okay, you can double click it and you can see the properties, or you can do the right click and activate the map. For this, let's say you click on the so since our so let's only see the extent of those buffers because they include the schools. So let's do the right click on the buffer and say go to zoom to layer. Okay, so these are the only values that we need right now, or that the values that we are visualizing right now. You can also add a north arrow here. You can change its size, symbol, and everything. You can add a scale bar. Let's see it. Okay, let's do it in metric. I think this is more useful. Okay. Does it provide the does it provide the ability to rotate? I don't know. Okay, let's not put it here. Or you can also insert the legend in the side of the map. You just have to make the formatting and so on. You can just do the double click and activate it. Let's put it little to the side and close the layout. Do the right click and this indicates okay. Let's expand it. So this is the data that we have. This is the data that we are using here. This is the layout, not the perfect layout, but put it up to here. And let's move. Let's do the click on the north arrow and click on the shift button and just move both of them here. So this is very easy as well as very intuitive. And you can just go to share, export layout into any of the format like PDF format or GOT format. Go to PDF and go to save preset. You can save this layout just like you do in AutoCAD, or you can just directly export. Export completed. You can show it in folder. You can do the double click on it and bingo. You can just have some adjustments here. So this is not a big deal. You need some time and you'll have some intuition on how to move it. Or in the layout pane, you can disable some of the legends. Like if you want to disable the original schools, you can do it. Or I think this is even not complete. We need to include all the data too. You can remove things within the layout pane, or you can add some of the things within the layout pane. And you can see this is very dynamic because once I click on boundary, the legend also updates the boundary. So this is how we do the basic things on the ArcGIS Pro, and this is how we analyze the GIS data. So this is day 2 of doing the GIS analysis, and this is done with the ArcGIS Pro for now. Soon after, we are going to learn more in details about the GIS analysis. We are going to play with more data, and we are going to advance our knowledge in GIS. I hope you learned a lot. Thank you very much. Please leave your comments below.